You think you can stop us? No way! It's the Beer Bubble!
Hello, and welcome back to Beer Bubbles, the number one bubbleless podcast in the world, and me and CC are together again for an interview.
Normally we don't have the time to sit together and speak to people, but we have a good friend here today, the newest lambic brewer, I'd say, in Belgium.
One of the newest, yes.
Yeah. Oh, the newest girls probably produced.
I think there might be one or two new ones that have just come out.
Oh, really?
Okay, well,
yeah.
Kestemont anyhow. This is Lias Kestemont.
Yes.
You are head brewer.
Yeah.
Part of the family who owns the brewery.
Yeah.
Why do you just after the pandemic start a new brewery, especially with stuff that takes a while to produce?
It takes a very long while, yes. Well, we actually started way before the pandemic began, so it was a plan from before the pandemic ever was a thing. And it was one of my dreams, actually, because I've been a brewer as a hobby for a very long time, since I was about 21 years old, I think. And not very long after, I was always thinking I should open a brewery at some point, because this is something I really love to do. And then after more than 10 years, it started to become kind of a possibility. And because our family actually has a farm as well. That's something that my dad started back in the 80s. It's an organic farm from back in the time when organic wasn't really a thing yet. So I started working at the farm as well. And then wanted to start a brewery, was thinking of starting a brewery at the farm in one of the one of the buildings there. But then at one point there was an old brewery, an old lambic brewery that came for sale very close to where I grew up. And we thought this is ideal. Lambic is one of my favorite beers. It's something that I love to make. So it would be perfect to start a new brewery inside an old lambic brewery and just start making lambic again, making gueuze, making kriek, all kinds of fruit beers as well, because at the farm we also grow a lot of the fruit. So it was just perfect.
Was it always a plan to make lambics, or did you have any?
At first,
it was. You wanted to make?
At first, it wasn't really. Well, we wanted to do lambics, but it wasn't like we wanted to do only lambics. So, but once we saw the lambic brewery and we were going to buy the lambic brewery, then it was just settled. We're just going to do a lambic because it was my favorite beer at the time, still is. As well, so it was just a perfect opportunity to just do a lambic brewery.
Speaking of lambics,
I was just about to say that. Let's welcome Lias properly.
We thought we'd treat Lias to one of our favorite lambics. It's the Cantillon Fofon from 2019. So cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's a good start to the day, to me at least. Very lively. You can feel the fruit properly.
It is.
And this was one of the inspirations to your own apricot.
It was,
beer,
yeah. We've always wanted to do a lot of experiments with a lot of fruits. It was one of my favorite things to do. But the idea for the apricot beer was partly because I loved the Foufoune so much from Cantillon so much. And also because we work together with a lot of Italian growers at the farm, because we also import some fruits and vegetables from Italy, and they have some amazing apricots. So it was just it would be a shame not to try and make an apricot beer. Yeah.
I looked at a lot of the beers that we're going to try, because we have a tasting here at Accra tonight with Lias. there's a lot of people coming here drinking mostly your fruited stuff, and you have some of them are actually fruit from Sicily. Do you work mainly with Sicily, or is it the rest of Italy as well?
Rest of Italy as well. Like the apricots that we used, I think they're from, if I'm not mistaken, from Emilia-Romagna, so more to the middle north of Italy. And then the citrus that we use in our beers, our newest beers that have come out, are from Sicily. Yeah, they're all like blood oranges and bergamot. They come from Sicily.
So I've put this together. I hope you like it. You haven't seen it yet.
No.
But so it's you guys on the first, and then I just wrote a bit about the beers.
Yeah.
Basically, some of the notes from Untapped.
Yeah.
I just stole them straight off. You thief. So we're actually going to try 8 beers today. We were going to do 7, but then your importer at Amcar, Sebastian, called me and said, "Shouldn't we do the blackberry one as well?"
Oh yeah.
And I love blackberries, so it's like, it was a no-brainer.
Okay.
And on tap today we have the 1-year-old, 2-year-old, and 3-year-old clean lambics as well.
I saw. Yeah, it's amazing that you have all of them together.
Yeah, for today, of course. Like we have to.
When you're here, we have to like show off a bit.
Also fun later on. We can try them against each other as well.
Exactly.
Like, to see
it's very cool to be able to taste the different ages next to each other to see what is exactly the difference, because the recipe might be exactly the same, but age is a very big part of all of the flavor.
Have you started brewing yourselves when those were made? Yes.
The 1, 2, and 3-year-olds you got here now, yes, I think so. Although maybe the 3-year-olds,
it's a
depends.
VAT 090.
What?
It says VAT 090.
Yeah, so
090.
090.
I don't remember. I don't know by now. I'd have to check the label, and I'll know. It might be the last one we had that we were doing as a blendery. It might be the first one we did as a brewery.
Because you acquired the site in 2017, or was it 2016?
Yeah, 2016, I think. Yeah.
And you started blending.
Like 2 years after we started blending. So we first started as a blendery, not as a brewery.
Where did you buy your?
We bought our wort from Den Herberg, which is
who's also quite new.
It was also quite new. Yeah, it's a little bit older than us, but not by much. But we had our they brewed our lambics for us. And then afterwards came straight to our building and into our barrels. Yeah, so we did that for 2 years. They brewed for us for 2 years, and then we very quickly decided that it would be better to start brewing. I mean, their lambic was amazing. That was no
Gueuse de Villiers is
exactly. It's very
favorites.
good. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with the quality or anything, but it was just being in an old lambic brewery, which was just perfect to have an actual brewery there.
You
as
wanted
well.
everything in house.
Yeah, we want to do everything in house. Yeah, exactly. Because we try to do everything ourselves as much as possible, growing the ingredients, brewing the beer, blending, bottling, everything. We try to do everything ourselves, which you can see with the ingredients, like the barley we don't grow, but we're trying to see if it would be possible. Where we are, but the wheat we grow ourselves, so 40% of the grains is from our own production, and then most of the fruits that we use are also grown ourselves within like a 5-10 kilometer radius around the brewery. It's just the more southern exotic stuff like the citrus and apricots we can't grow, so we get them from Italy.
That's awesome to have everything so close by to just create your own like culture around the brewery.
Yeah. We try to do as much as possible ourselves.
I really find the design quite refreshing as well, because it's really new and it's fresh and you can tell where it is. I have a big problem with your Gueuse though, with the label of your Gueuse, because it's blue. And to me, it should be yellow or orange. So I was looking for the orange the other day, and I was like, I don't have any Gueuse.
That's the blueberry one.
It's the blue one.
Yeah. Yeah, we were looking for a more, I don't know, we've done a bunch of different types of labels first, and then the blue was the ones that it was our favorite at that time. But yeah, usually we try to do the colors of the fruits to match the label. But then for the gueuse, we had to choose something.
Well, you're different. You stand out.
Exactly. But we have a very good graphic designer that my colleague knows him personally. He's an old friend. So it was very easy to talk to him, tell him what we wanted, and it was very easy for him to also tell us what we shouldn't do, what would not be that great to see on a label. But we wanted something that was very clearly all our brewery, so very all the same type of labels, so it was very clear those are all from the same brewery. Also something relatively simple, like with the different types of fruits are just on the label, so you can immediately see what type of beer it is. Because oftentimes you see beers with a bunch of different labels, and after a while you can't really tell this is all from the same brewery because it's such a big amount of different types of labels. Yeah.
Or you could do it even harder than like Fontaine does, and everything looks the same, and you haven't got a clue which one is which.
Yeah, exactly. That wasn't no choice either.
It's one lot series. It's one of my absolute favorites. Looks for during service when you have shit to do.
You can't tell them apart.
And we just have them on one table.
That was the reason.
It's one text that's this big that says it's Roman numbers only. It's like
really?
2 groups. So
also, you really have to check every time. Oh wow!
In the middle of service, you shit. You have to stand there like, okay,
sounds horrible. Yeah. No, that was one of the reasons why we did all the different colors, so you could immediately see. Okay, this is this beer. This is this beer. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. It's refreshing actually. I find that lambic bottles per se, when it comes to they're most difficult to read up on what it is from the bottle itself.
Sometimes. This is why we wanted to have something relatively simple that you can actually, even if you can't read the language, that you can still kind of tell what it is. Yeah,
that's nice.
So you've been around now since 2016. You've made your own in-house lambics from 2020, 2021, somewhere there.
Yeah.
How are you growing, or are you quite content at where you are?
We're still growing a little bit, but right now we're kind of confined in the building that we are, because it's a very old historic building, so we can't really change anything about it either. And it's getting almost full right now, so we're about our maximum production or maximum stock that we can keep at one time, almost. So if we want to grow even more, we're going to have to find the second place to store some of our beers, especially if we want to. What we'd like to try doing is start doing fooders as well, so the bigger barrels. But where we are right now, it's impossible to do because we can't get them inside. They're too big. And so what you could do is take them apart and then put them back together inside the building, but that is extremely expensive, so not something I want to do right now.
And you need a really good cooper who can do it.
Exactly, yeah. You need to find someone who can actually do it, and so that's very, very hard to do. So the next option is to get a second place somewhere close, maybe at the farm, where we can store fooders and then start filling some fooders as well.
What's your capacity now for storing?
Now it kind of depends, but we started brewing about 20,000 liters a year, and now we're going up to 30,000 liters. We'd like to go a little bit higher as well, but yeah, right now we're kind of at maximum capacity. Yeah, but maybe soon. A little bit more.
I was thinking, because brewing is globally kind of a close-knit community. People work quite close to each other. We do something that we love, and it's a passion work more than anything that we do to make big money, because you can't make big money in this business, not if you do it properly.
Not really, no.
But how is the scene because I met a few lambic brewers. They're kind of headstrong, special
some
people.
Some of them are, yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah.
How is the community with brewers around you? Because you only started. How do they look at you?
They're actually very friendly. But there some of them might be a little headstrong and a little bit kept to themselves. But they don't really treat you as a big competition. It's more of a colleague. We because we work together for a lot of stuff as well. Like within Horal, we're the newest member of Horal since this year. We're with a bunch of blenders and brewers together in Horal, and we mostly work together to promote the lambic beers in general, not just for one brewery, but for everybody, to make it a better product in general, to see that the quality is great for that everybody produces, and then also promote the beer to everyone within Belgium, but also to other countries.
So what is your biggest market?
Biggest market right now is still Belgium. Yeah, still pretty local. We do some exports, but that's about 20-30% of what we make probably. But the rest of it is all within Belgium. Yeah.
Do most of it go to the US, where the lambic craze is?
There's a lot that goes to the US. Yes. Quite a lot to Japan as well, China. I think even South Korea. Italy, a little bit to Sweden actually.
Apparently.
Quite, quite a lot to Sweden as well. Those are the biggest countries that we deliver to, and then a little bit everywhere as well. And then mostly, in the local shop that we do, our bar, and then the beer shops all over Belgium. Yeah.
But do you have your own little bar as well?
We do. Yeah, we have a little bar and shop at the brewery, and we're open every Friday and Saturday. There you can come and visit us. You can even do tours if you book them in advance, and then you can do tastings. We have, it's a very nice location because we're at an old farm that is farm and brewery. That is actually protected heritage in Belgium. So it's a very beautiful old style square farm that is very typical of the region there in Belgium. And then there's some old brewery buildings behind there as well. The oldest buildings go back to the 1700s, and the newest building is from 1947, and that's even a rebuilding of an old building that used to be there before.
So beer has been brewed on this site for the last
since 1700s.
300 years.
We're not exactly sure since when, but about 300 years. Yeah,
that is awesome. It's quite cool to be a new brewery with that heritage.
It is. It's the most amazing place you can imagine for a brewery to start. We're right next to Brussels, but still in the middle of nowhere, in a tiny little village. There's a park behind us with ponds and an old water mill that's even older than the brewery as well. So it's an area with a lot of history. Yeah, it's an amazing place to be.
We'll have to come and visit.
Yeah, definitely. You should visit.
We should do something together for our 30th birthday next year. Because Akrat turns 30 next year.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, perfect. Yeah, definitely welcome.
But it's our 30th birthday.
Well, if I was 30, I'd be happy. I'm way older than that.
I'm not.
No, I know. Youngster.
Are you excited for how many tastings do you do? Is one of the first ones, or have you been out doing tastings?
I've done a couple, but not a lot. This is the third or fourth we've done so far, I think. Yeah. We haven't been selling our beer for that long, about 2 years now. So yeah, we haven't done a lot of. We have done some festivals. We've done some tastings, but not a lot now. This is the second one we do outside of Belgium. I think I had one in Italy as well at a beer festival. Yeah.
Do you find it fun?
Yeah, it was quite nice actually. It was especially for the our crepe lambic that we had back then, because they're big fans of everything that is great beers in Italy. So we were there for a festival, and then we had our grape lambic, and I did a whole tasting with all types of grape beers, lambics and other stuff. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was very nice. Yeah.
That's nice. And I checked out your website yesterday, and I remember that now. Basically, all beers said sold out.
Yeah,
there was like 3 or 4 beers that were able to order, but the rest was sold out.
There's a lot that is sold out at the moment. We also just had the Tour de Gueuse, which is a 2-yearly event with Horel that we do, and a lot of beers sold out during that weekend. So yeah, we don't have a lot left right now, but there's a lot new coming, and a lot of old beers that we've made again that will be coming out over the next 6 months.
Well, that's very nice to have it sold out. I mean,
yeah, it is. Yeah, like every time we make a small beer. Like a small amount of new fruit beer, for example, it tends to sell out pretty quickly because we don't make as much of it. And then the year after, we try to make a little bit more to have a little bit bigger supply.
You can also that's also a good way to find out what actually sells and what don't.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's
so if you do a smaller batch, you know, that sold out quickly. We'll do that in a bigger batch next time. Mm.
And also what we like because we also do the things that we like ourselves. So what we usually and I love to experiment with new types of fruits. So what we usually do is do a small batch first, and then if we like it a lot, and if people are very excited about it, we'll make like double the next year, maybe triple the next year.
Maybe we should open a bottle of Krikon for him later on. Because I did there's a small brewery on Gotland called Snausarve, and I sent down some fruit that a friend of mine picked, and I cooked it down to a puree with the pips.
Okay.
And Krikon is like an old variety of plums, and we ended up with 64 small bottles. That's it, and I've got about 20 left here. We might open one later on. Just to try one, because
I'd love to.
It's nice to see what you think about it. Yeah.
I'd love to, yeah.
Because on Gotland, where I'm from, there is an old beer style that is basically a lambic, but we're not allowed to call it a lambic.
Yeah.
It's called a surly. So it's very similar. It's a local yeast in the atmosphere. So it's spontaneously fermented, and we'll see what you think later.
Yeah, I'd love to try it. Always interesting to drink something that is in the same style, and in especially with fruits as well.
That's
it's always very
yeah.
It's very nice, especially if they use like special types of fruit or something that I haven't seen or tried before.
I go and get one?
Go and get one.
I'll go and get one.
What's your except yourself? What's your favorite fruit lambic brewery?
That's a very difficult
I know,
question.
But is there any brewery that like you get extra? You go back to once in a while?
I think there's a couple probably, and also it depends on. There's a bunch of different beers from different breweries that I like a lot, but specifically like lambic beers. I think Cantillon has always been one of my favorites. And then the Creek from Oud-Beersel was also one of my favorites. And what else? There's so many. That looks like
quite lively.
Oh, well, yeah. So be careful. It happens when you're working with spontaneous fermentation, stuff like that. It's bound to happen sometimes.
It's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
It's supposed to happen, actually. So if you pour it. I'm really proud of this one. I shouldn't be proud because they made it, but it's to just be a part of doing this is. There's some fluctuations in it, but that's actually yeast and fruit. So it's
this is with cherries.
Krikon, so it's a kind of plum.
A plum, yeah.
Yeah, it's a small yellow plum with a flat kernel.
Okay, small yellow.
We have Sebastian here from Amka, who's the importer of the Kestemont.
Think we might have a similar type of plum where I grew up.
So cheers.
Cheers.
Wipe down the table. It's beer everywhere.
Yeah, you can definitely taste the plums.
I wanted to keep the pips in to give a bit of bitterness to it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of careful with everything that is not cherries to keep the pits in, because they can be too much, and also if you accidentally break them, it's not very good for your health.
No.
What's inside of the pit? So we try to be careful. Like the apricots, they're all destoned. But you have some types of plums, especially like the little ones. They have such a tight. How do you call it?
They're really hard to get the pit.
Yeah, exactly. They don't break apart that easily, so it's. I think it's okay. We have a very special type that I'd like to try sometime as well. The slow berries.
Oh,
you know, that's also like
a
tiny.
Slow yin from
like the tiny little plums. They grow everywhere where I live as well. We'd love to try one with lambic with that one as well. Yeah.
We're soon going to get started to set up everything for the tasting later on tonight. We always have a final question. This is normally the podcast is just a nice talk, but we have a really hard question at the end because we have to have a hard question. Yeah. So I'm going to let you do the honors today, Rasmus.
I'm sorry, but before the tasting, you're gonna die, and you can only have one more beer.
Oh,
not like
wow.
For the rest of your life, the last one before you die, and you can have anything you want. Not in production anymore. In production, whatever you want.
That is a very difficult one.
Especially if you're into beer.
Yeah, especially then, yeah. Because there's been so many good ones. There are still so many good, amazing ones. But maybe if I can choose anything from any time, since we are in the old Goossens lambic brewery, I would love to try a Goossens Geuze from the time when they were still in full production, because I've never been able to try that one. That's something that I don't think exists anymore because it's been over 60 years since the brewery closed down. And I don't even think they had labels on the beers back then, so it was
So if you were to find one today, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, exactly. It will be very difficult to tell if it was from the Goossens brewery. There's some blends that are still out there, but like a proper Goossens Geuze, I don't think it exists anymore. So I'd love to try one of those. Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Thank you very much. Lias, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Really nice to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
Even better that we're going to keep you for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And you guys out there, whatever you do, drink better beer. Cheers.
Cheers.
You think you can stop us? No way!